Hi, this is Bruce Parker from Remax Best, and thanks for stopping by my little video today. Today we're going to talk about appealing your taxes in Highland Park. And one of the most common complaints I get about living in Highland Park is that the taxes are very, very high. Your taxes, however, may be higher than they could be. And this is the season to file a tax appeal. The tax appeal is a very simple process. The cost for filing a tax appeal is very low, and there's a few easy steps. So, first I'd like to remind you that you can get an attorney to do this, and an attorney is always a good idea. But if you feel confident in doing a little bit of research and filling out the paperwork yourself, it's something that you can very easily do. So stick with me and watch this video, and let's learn how to appeal your taxes in Highland Park. All right, we're ready for step one. Step one is to go to the County Board of Taxation and pick up one of these forms. The County Board of Taxation is located at 75 Bayard Street on the 4th floor in New Brunswick. And just go up and ask for one of the forms. We're going to open up the form now. And as you can see, it's a very simple form, not much to it. It has some instructions which are very confusing. But the most important part of the form is this report. And in this report, we're going to look at homes that sold from the period of 10/1/2014 to 9/30/2015. And that's going to be the basis of our appeal. So take a look at this form, and we'll have it included later on in the presentation, and I'll show you how to fill it out. And again, you can always get an attorney to do this, and an attorney is always a good idea. But if you feel confident in filling it out yourself, have at it. All right, get ready for our class on how to appeal your taxes. Step one is to find your current assessment. And you should have gotten mailed a bill. And if not, give me a call and I can pull that information for you. And if you don't want to call me or you don't have your bill, you can go down to the tax assessor and ask him to give you that information now. So you're going to look at your assessment. And your assessment is made up of two components. The two components are your land assessment and your improvement assessment. Those two added together give you your total assessment. Hi, our next step is to find out what the equalization ratio is for Highland Park. We just type in equalization ratio on Google, click on New Jersey Division of Taxation, go to Middlesex County, and we're going to come down to Highland Park Borough. We're going to see that the equalization ratio for Highland Park is 42.80%. That means your house is assessed at 42.80% of its value. And we're going to use that number when we calculate what Highland Park is valuing your house at for tax purposes. So once we've found our assessed value on our home, and that's the total assessment, the land plus the improvement, we need to find out what Highland Park actually values the property at. And the way we do this is by taking the equalization rate. Now, we take the full assessed value, and in this case it's 114,600, and we divide it by the equalization ratio. And as you can see, that 114,600 divided by the equalization ratio gives us a value, let's get that locked in there for you, of 267,757. Now, in order to file our appeal, we have to prove that there's at least a 15% mistake. And the way we prove that there's at least a 15% mistake, or the way we look at what we have to prove, is we take our value that we found just a minute ago, that's that 267,757, and we multiply it by 0.85, that's taking away 15%. So we have to prove a value of 227,563.45 in order not to have a technical deficiency. And we do that by using closed sales again from October the 1st, 2014 till September the 30th, 2015. Hi, this is Bruce again, and I'm showing you exactly what the form looks like that you're going to have to fill out. So you want to put the tax year in here, the name of the petitioner in here, that's your name, your mailing address, your daytime telephone number, your blot and lock number, and again, if you don't know that, you can get it off your tax bill, or you can certainly get it from me. They'd like to have your email address so they can contact you by email, your lot size, and then the municipality, In this case, we'd fill in Highland Park here, and your property street address that you're making the application for. On this section here, you want to fill in what's your land assessment, what's your building assessment, if you have any abatements, and what the total is. And then you're going to ask for your requested assessment on land, building and improvement, and what your total new requested assessment is. And remember, you need to have an 85% differential. So if you're going to not have a technical deficiency, because if there's not a 15% differential, they can say it's a technical deficiency and not grant you your appeal, you need to make sure that these numbers are at least 15% lower than these numbers. Again, you need to make sure that these numbers are 15% lower than these numbers. Otherwise, you don't have a appeal. And when it comes to the reason for the appeal, what you're going to fill in here is very simple: overassessed. Your purchase price of when you bought the house goes in here, the date of purchase goes in here, and you're going to check off here whether or not you have a tax case pending anywhere. So again, right here, you're going to check off, do you have a tax case pending anywhere? Now, the next step is an important step, and the next step is to fill in the comparable sales that you're going to use, and these numbers have to be between October the 1st of 2014 and September the 30th of 2015. The blot and lock number of your comparable, the street address of your comparable, the sales price of your comparable, and the sale and deed date of your comparable. And you're going to need at least 3 of these, 1, 2, 3, with a maximum of 5. So you could have as many as 5. And again, they're going to now review this, and they're going to tell whether or not you're making a reasonable request, and if your numbers are true. The only people who can give testimony if you happen to go to trial are a New Jersey certified and licensed appraiser and the tax assessor. However, typically this information is accepted when you make your application for the appeal, for the reduction of your assessment. And lastly, you're going to date this and sign it, and you're going to make sure that you drop it off at the 3 places that we need to drop it off, and that's the assessor's office and the clerk's office in your town, as well as the County Board of Taxation at 75 Bayard Street in New Brunswick. If you have any questions, please call me at 732-266-3366. Thank you very much, and I look forward to talking. When you're filling out your form and you're entering in the comparable sales that you're going to use, you have to have a minimum of 3 comparable sales and a maximum of 5 comparable sales. Of course, you're going to use the comparable sales that are most favorable to you, and when your assessor looks at your application, or when he contests it in a hearing or a tax trial, he's going to use the comparables that are most advantageous to him. So again, we want to choose wisely when we put these comparable closed sales in. So a big question is, where do I get my list of comparable closed sales that closed from October the 1st of 2014 until September the 30th of 2015? Well, the best way is to shoot me an email at jerseybest@msn.com. That's JERSEYBEST, jerseybest@msn.com. Shoot me an email, and I'll send you the list of what closed between October the 1st of 2014 and September the 30th of 2015. These are the comparable sales that you need to use. So, if you're brave enough to do this yourself, once you've completed the form, you need to make copies of all of the comparable sales you're using, and you need to have at least 4 copies of the application itself. 1 copy goes to the tax assessor in your municipality, 1 copy goes to the city clerk in your municipality, and 1 copy goes to the Middlesex County Board of Taxation, 75 Bayard Street, 4th floor in New Brunswick. And you've got to get these all there before April the 1st. Actually, April the 1st is the last day, so you could get them there on April the 1st. My advice is always to get them there a little bit earlier. When you're appealing your taxes, there are a few things that could result in technical deficiencies, and that would result in your case being dismissed without you getting your desired result. First of all, you need to have a 15% differential between your market value and the market value that your assessment divided by your equalization ratio results in. If it's less than 15%, the assessor doesn't have to make an adjustment. Again, we want to be very careful when we make these applications and do our math correctly the first time. All right, another tip, don't be afraid to talk to your tax assessor. The tax assessors are very good at giving the correct assessment on property. And if you've got a valid case, sometimes they will offer you a settlement prior to going to a tax trial or tax hearing. That stipulated settlement, when it's signed, will be binding and it will get you the reduction that you've asked for in many cases. Again, I want to remind you that you could get a lawyer to help you do this, and if you're at all concerned with some of the issues that are arising, please, please, please hire an attorney. The attorneys will usually charge you on a contingency basis to do this, and there's a number of attorneys around that specialize in this field. We want to talk about one other quick thing, and that's in the event that you have done some improvements to your house without permits. Those improvements to your house without permits may cause you a problem because the municipality may not know that they're there and therefore may not be charging you a rateable for those improvements. So again, you want to think twice before you make a tax assessment appeal if you've made some improvements to your house without building permits. So far so good. Don't be afraid. It's relatively easy. So again, you want to make very sure that a couple of things are not going to cause you a problem. Number one, are your taxes up to date? Because it's a technical deficiency if your taxes are not up to date and you can't file. Number two, if you have a rental property, have you registered that property with the municipality? Because the tax assessor could deny your appeal assessment in the event that you haven't registered your rental property because that's a technical deficiency. And lastly, you have to file by April the 1st, or that's a technical deficiency. So again, if all of those three things are okay, then let's move forward. When you're filling in your closed sales, you will need the lot and block number, the sales date, and the closed sales price of each of the closed sales. Again, that's information that can be derived from several sources. And if you need it, please just give me a call or send me an email at jerseybest@msn.com, and I'll be happy to forward that information to you. Another question that sometimes comes up is, can the tax assessor raise my assessment based on my appeal? And the answer is, he possibly could. A few of the reasons that he might is that you've got things in your house that are improvements that are not on your tax card. In other words, ratables in your house that the municipality is not charging you taxes on. And that would result from doing improvements without pulling permits. Another issue could be that you are undertaxed, and you certainly don't want to take the chance of being undertaxed by 15%. That's why it's very important that you do a very careful study and you actually give good comparables. There's not that many comparables this year in Highland Park during that time frame, so it's pretty easy to get ones that are actually applicable. Again, choose with care, and remember, if you think you need an attorney, hire an attorney. It doesn't really cost that much, and they usually work on a contingency basis. Hi, and this is Bruce again. One very quick disclaimer: I'm not an attorney, and I'm not giving you legal advice. You should hire an attorney if you're concerned about doing this yourself. I am merely providing the instructions and a brief overview of how the process works. So again, don't rely on all this information as your only source of information, and if you need an attorney, please hire one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. I hope this has proved helpful, and again, thank you very much for watching. If there's anything I can do, give me a call, 732-266-3366. And if you'd like to find out what your house might sell for in this current market, again, 732-266-3366. We'd be happy to help.